Hey guys, it's VT Gamer Girl 11 back with another video. This video is going to be in remembrance to all the September 11th victims and their families, and all of the fire personnel, police personnel, rescue personnel that were out there that day, as well as all the volunteers that helped as well. This is just going to be basically my story of where I was on September 11th and what I remember. Now, what I do remember is blurred because I was 14 and I was in ninth grade in high school, and it's kind of like the age where you knew something serious was going on, but at the same time you didn't really understand it. So it was kind of like a mixture of understanding it and not understanding it. But anyway, I was in ninth grade. I was in my first class of the day, which was Earth Science, and we were, going through our normal stuff. And all of a sudden, like on the intercom, they told the teachers that they could turn the TV on and watch what was going on in New York. And at that time, like, they didn't exactly know what was happening, but they knew it was serious enough to turn on the TV, because in our school, like, teachers weren't allowed to turn on the TV for anything. Like, even if you were in like a history class and you wanted to watch like 5 or 10 minutes of the news or something, you weren't allowed to turn on the TV for anything. If you wanted to watch a movie, documentary, anything, you had to get permission from parents, school, and everything. So it was like extremely odd that they were telling the teachers to turn on the TV. So anyway, no, they didn't have to. It was up to them whether or not they thought that it would be appropriate to show us. But my teacher did turn on the TV, and when he turned it on, the first building was already hit. And at that time, they still thought it was could have been like a small plane, a helicopter. They still weren't sure really what happened at that point. And I don't know how long it took, but like a few minutes after we turned the TV on, they somebody like witnessed that it was, a commercial airliner, and they were like interviewing on the TV that that's what it was. So we were still thinking, or at least in my head, I don't know what everybody was thinking, that because when you're 14, you really don't want to think. Not just when you're 14, but like period, you don't want to think something really bad like that would happen on purpose. So we were still thinking it was an accident, that the plane, got off course somehow, had engine problems or something, and accidentally ran into the building. Well, I don't know, like, at the time, what everybody was thinking, but my initial thought when I saw that building was it was going to fall down. And I don't know if that was just because I was 14 and I was naive and I just thought a burning building probably going to fall down. I don't know, but that was my initial thought, which I thought was weird because a lot of adults at that time didn't, like, they knew more about the structure of the building, how it was built, and that, it was built to stand up, like, to not get knocked down by anything. And when you're a kid, you don't know that whole, like, how it was built or anything. You just see a building on fire and you go, oh, well, that's probably gonna fall down. That would be really bad. All the people below it, like, I'm sitting there watching the TV, I'm like, why aren't these people getting away from this burning building? Like, I couldn't understand that. And then the second plane hit. And then I think it was like when we really got confused, because in our heads we still wanted to think it was an accident, but we knew that it wasn't. But we didn't understand, like, when you're 14, or when I was 14, I didn't know what terrorism was. That was the first event that happened in my life that was terrorism related that I can remember. So basically, that whole day, it was weird because the second plane hit, and it was about, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes maybe after the second plane hit, our power went out in our school. And I don't live like anywhere near New York or um, the area like Arlington, Virginia. I live in Southwest Virginia. So it's obviously not connected to any of that, but apparently somebody ran into a phone pole that was near the school, and it caused the power to go out, and our school has like always been notorious for the power going out. So it knocked the power out completely. We don't really have generators in the school, but they do come on, but it takes them like 15 or 20 minutes to even come on. And at the time, I mean, there was already people. We had a teacher that was like a door down from where we were at, who had a family member that was in the World Trade Center, and she was, before the power went out, because she saw what happened on the TV, she was really, really emotional, breaking down in the hallway and crying, and, my teacher and all the other teachers that were in the area was out there trying to console her. And, we're still confused. And then the power goes out, and everybody's all like panicking and like, screaming because you saw what happened on TV, and we're like, well, yeah, this is, nothing's gonna happen at our high school, but this is still weird. So, um, basically, enable for it to be a full day at the school and for it to count as a full school day, we have to eat lunch. And at our school, there was 2 blocks for lunch, so each block had to eat lunch before they were able to let us go home. Sorry for the shaking. This is on my bed, so it's shaking really bad. But um, so even with the power out, they we still had to eat lunch. So they like bagged lunches up, and we were pretty much taken down by classes in the block that you had lunch in. We would go down there and eat lunch, and I mean, it was in the dark, but there were some doors and stuff, so there was light coming in through the doors. But it was kind of weird because we were sitting down there. I mean, apparently they locked the doors, which they don't ever do at my school. And there was parents like, knocking on the doors, banging on the doors, really mad, pissed off parents trying to get in, and they wouldn't let them in because, safety hazards. Um, so at the time, they still didn't know like why the power went out or anything. And plus what was going on September 11th, they were just being, they didn't want somebody to come in and hysterically and upset all the kids and stuff in the school. So they had them locked outside, and pretty much like they went out there and asked them, what kid are you trying to pick up? And they would go and get the kid and bring the kid outside. So it was kind of a weird situation because that never really happened with our school. But after we ate lunch, I don't remember exactly what happened. I remember we went back up to our classroom, but I can't remember if we went to the same classroom or if we went to our next block classroom. Like everybody had like teachers had like flashlights and stuff like that, so we could get back to our classroom. Plus the generators were on. So we get up to the classroom. I think we went to the other class. I'm pretty sure I went to the other class because that class, pretty much every room in that school doesn't have any windows, and if it does have a window, it's like really tiny. So, my school was actually originally built to be a prison. I'm not even kidding. So there wasn't that many windows. So it was pitch dark in the rooms, obviously, because the generators just worked in like the hallways. They didn't work in like the rooms or anything. So we were sitting there in the room just waiting to be released early, and they released us early because of September 11th. So basically, they released us, got on the bus, went home. I was by myself at the time, and I got home, turned on the news, and I just sat there and watched it like all day, all night, and I pretty much did that for a week straight, minus the time that we were in school. Even when we were in school, like I think it was like a day or two afterwards, they still let us watch it on TV a little bit, like not the whole day, but some of it. So that's what I remember. Um, it was really weird because it wasn't until like that night. I don't even know if it was that night, maybe a couple of days later, where I really understood what can't talk. Sorry, terrorism was. So it was like really shocking to me that can happen, and then I kept thinking, well, this probably means we're going to go to war, and when you're a kid and you think of war, you think of not good things. So it was kind of scary at the same time, still confused and upset all at the same time. So it was really interesting being a 14-year-old stuck in the middle of understanding and not understanding. But 8 months, it was about 7 or 8 months afterwards. I can't remember if we went in April or May, but my my course class went to, this was planned before September 11th, to go up to New York, which they pretty much did like every other year. And they canceled it originally because of what happened. They, didn't think it'd be safe to go up there. So they canceled it, and then they decided when the security level went back down a little bit, they decided to go ahead and let us go because we already planned, we already paid for it and everything. Sorry, my voice is like keeps going out today. So pretty much it'd be a hassle to get everybody's money back, and pretty much so they just decided to let us go. So we went up there, and we went to the site, and I actually got pictures from the site, and I'm just going to throw this in here. I thought I lost them about a year or two ago because I left and went to St. Louis for a summer, and I came back and the whole basement was cleaned out, and I thought they got thrown away accidentally as I could not find them, and I thought that's where I put them. But later, and I mean like 2-3 years later, yeah, it was like 2 years later, I found them. So thankfully, I still have them, and I'm going to show those in a separate clip added to the end of this video. Um, Also in that clip will be stuff I got when I was in New York. I'm probably going to add some pictures as well. You know what I'm actually going to do? This is going to be my story. And then I'm going to make another video of all that stuff, because I have a bunch of tribute stuff, like this bracelet that says, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it says Tribute World Trade Center 9/11. That's person-to-person history, I believe. Yeah, which is like the people that won it. And I'm not sure, but I believe it's on Canal Street in New York. I don't know what's telling me that, but I think that's true. It's basically right there beside where it happened. If you ever go to New York, and if that's still there when the like the big memorial opens, I don't know if they're gonna like put everything together in the big memorial or what, but if that one's still open, definitely check it out. It's really, really interesting, really, really sad, but it's a really, really good museum, and it's laid out really well too. And at the end, you can go down below in this like basement, and you can like write on this card about what you thought about it, and they like keep all those so they know who came and what their experience was, and you know, it's just something interesting to say that you were there. So this is just a remembrance to all the victims. Sorry this is a little long, but you know, I ramble all the time, so. But I just want to tell you guys where I was. If you guys want to leave a story or a comment below, you don't have to, obviously, but you know, if you knew anybody that was affected by September 11th, or if you want to leave your story about where you were, what happened, or, you know, condolences, anything that you would like to do in the comments below, or make a video response, that would be great. And I will make a video of the pictures I took my first time to New York, which was April or May of 2001, and then the second time, which was May 2011. So it's like a 10-year gap. So I will make a video of that. That might not be up today, that might be up tomorrow, depending on how long it's going to take me to do it. But thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.